Hello, everyone, and welcome to my 10 questions with video series where I ask virtual assistants all about their business. So, question one, who are you? Tell me about your business.
Hello, I'm Agnieszka Ciechanowska. I'm a virtual assistant, an executive assistant, and event planner, and I offer my services remotely on a freelance basis. I support my clients with calendar management, travel arrangements, event planning, and lifestyle management. I have been a virtual assistant for 8 years now, so quite some time. I work mainly with CEOs and executives, and also I work with entrepreneurs and business owners. My clients come from big international organizations and also from small, independent, private-owned businesses. I work with international clients. So far, I've been lucky to work with people from Poland, UK, Italy, and Spain. What I like about being self-employed virtual assistant is that I am location independent. I can be wherever I want and I can travel a lot, which personally I really love doing. I think it makes life interesting, meeting other people, getting to know other cultures, makes us grow personally, but it also gives a lot of inspiration for business.
I completely agree. What's the name of your business?
My name. So because majority of potential clients, people in business world know me as Agnieszka Ciechanowska, so that's the name of my
I
business.
see, I see. And are you based in Poland?
I am currently in Poland, but I keep moving around. I used to live in UK for quite a few years, and I travel a lot. Like today, I'm in western part of Poland. Next week, I will be in Sussex in UK. So yeah, I enjoy variety.
Amazing, amazing. I lived in Sussex. Question
I know.
two, what did you I know I live in Buckinghamshire now, I moved. Um, Question two, what did you do before you became a virtual assistant? What happened to bring that about?
Prior to becoming a virtual assistant, I was a senior executive assistant and events manager, and I supported executives in multinational organizations, both in Poland and UK. And I decided to be a self-employed virtual assistant because most of all, I wanted to specialize. I wanted to focus on doing what I enjoy the most and also what I feel like I'm best at. I think this enables me to, on one hand, enjoy my work, make it more interesting, but also it makes it possible to provide my clients with like the best quality service, like to give them the best value. And of course, another reason why I became a freelancer is because I wanted to be independent. I wanted to work with international clients. I didn't want to be restricted to just one location only. And so far, it's worked. It just makes life and work more interesting and fulfilling for me.
Yes, I agree with you. I'm the same as you, really. This is why I went and worked for myself because I wanted to work anywhere. And I have. I've been all over the world from the States to Bali, the Middle East. And as long as you've got a laptop and you've got a bit of
Yeah.
discipline, I guess,
Yes, that's true.
then you can work anywhere. You just open a laptop. I've written a course from Airport Lounge. I remember when I did a lot more traveling before I got my dog, I had a lounge pass because in you go, it's all nice in there, and it's definitely worth the money. And yeah, you can sit quite comfortably and do some really good work in hotel lounges. It turns out, hotel airport lounges. Sorry, it turns out also hotel lounges.
Absolutely. Although
Question,
having, like you mentioned, just because you travel, it doesn't mean that you're like on a constant holiday. You do have to be self-motivated and disciplined to get work done. Yeah.
yes, yes, that was something. It's difficult. I mean, people have often asked me about this, how I work when I travel. I don't travel as much now, obviously, because I have my dog, which was a conscious decision. But I was nomadic at one point. I'd sold my apartment and was living, in Montenegro and then traveling around nomadically. And some people say you're always on holiday, but you're never really on holiday. You're always having to work. I would do my work depending on the weather, where I was, if I'd been before. Um, Sometimes it was really hot, so I would work in the day and then do my sightseeing very, very early or late. And other times it was the other way around. I'd um, I'd go out in the daytime instead. But sometimes you go somewhere and it's a bit too hot to. Europe in summer is horrendous.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. You do have to like find
Ferragosto.
a place to work. Yeah. Some days I
Yeah,
work more and then I get more free time another day. So it also, you can manage it and plan.
yeah.
Planning is
It's difficult.
important.
Exactly. And it's quite difficult, I think, when you travel with other people because if you're on holiday with other people or they're on the trip with you, they expect you to be free when they're free. And you have to be very disciplined of your boundaries, I think, and say, I'm working between this time and
Yeah.
this time, and you go and do your thing and I'll see you back. I've had that before where people are like, come on, everyone's drinking, you know.
It's
You live in
tempting.
a
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's a
Um,
lot of it is you really have to prepare for it, like plan in advance and know that there will be a lot of temptations. So yeah.
exactly. And that came from experience. I didn't know that until I discovered that.
Yeah.
Question three, what was your biggest fear around setting up your own business?
Mm. Obviously, the fear that I experienced was fear of unknown. I started my business 8 years ago in 2017, and there was a time when working from home, working remotely wasn't that popular yet. Um, I was I was really concerned, and I feared being on my own and not having support that I was used to getting when I worked for big international organizations. Um, I also didn't know whether I had it in me, like, the strength and confidence and ability to just sort, get things done, go out there, get the clients, promote myself. I wasn't sure. Um, Another thing that I was concerned about is when I started talking to people and telling them about my idea of becoming a solo executive assistant, a lot of them shared their thoughts that they just didn't think it was going to work. They just didn't see it. And I remember thinking, wow, I don't know. So what am I going to do if this is not going to work? Also, when I started promoting my services, I realized that a concept of a virtual assistant wasn't that clear to everyone. I found that a lot of people associated with just a pure online technical support. So to start with, I spend a lot of time explaining to people what I do, how it works, that, being a virtual assistant makes it possible for me to offer a variety of services, and that it doesn't mean that I'm just like a person somewhere virtually out there, but I can be present in person. So yeah, so I was very concerned, like, is this going to work? But what helped me and gave me courage and was that I could see that there were people out there and they did have clients and they were successful. So that was a big thing for me. And other than that, I just took the risk and I experimented and I was learning along the way. You know, I took it step by step. It was a process. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to just go there and see what's working, what's not working, and try your own thing. It did help me, but I got my first ever client relatively quickly. So, you know, that was the biggest encouragement I could ever get. Yeah.
I think often people feel that they need to get the courage to do something before they do it. And I've learned that it's kind of like a magic trick, that when you do the thing, the courage comes. The more you do something, it's not unknown anymore. And then your confidence grows. Getting a
Yeah.
client, once you start working with someone, you're like, oh, I can do this, or I am doing this. And you become more confident the more you go on.
Yeah. 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 When you try and when you put yourself out there, when you experiment and see, and then you get attention and maybe your first client or some inquiries, it gives you motivation to keep going, keep trying.
Do you find that it's easier to explain to people, instead of saying I'm a virtual assistant, do you sometimes say that you're like a freelance executive assistant or personal
Yes, I
assistant
do.
instead, because of your niche, because it's
Yes, definitely. I actually, like, on my LinkedIn profile, I call myself an executive assistant offering services remotely, because it can be tricky. It can be that my potential clients may not be clear on what I do and how it works. So it's a lot of communication and talking to people and explaining as well. I don't think there's
I
an easy
think
way to call yourself. It's
no.
more getting in front of people and getting them to know you.
I think it is the term virtual assistant. It has confused people, and I've heard a few business owners say that it's such a, because of what virtual assistants do, it's so broad. You've got someone like
Yeah.
you that works, executives, corporate, and then you've got someone that works really techie, setting up membership groups, or helping with tech support, that type of thing. And they are poles apart, but they often have the same name. And I think that's a really good idea to call yourself. I would say that somebody, because I do the tech stuff. So I would say that I was like a tech wrangler. You were executive, like freelance executive support. It's good to differentiate in that way, I think.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Question, question four. How has your life changed since you became a virtual assistant?
My life has changed a lot since becoming self-employed and virtual assistant. I definitely have more freedom and independence, and I definitely have more time because I don't have to commute. Oh, I get a couple of extra hours a day for sure, every day. Just like we discussed earlier, I can travel more and I can be anywhere I want. I feel that professionally, I have grown more than ever. I have learned so much. I have learned so much about myself and my skills, my talents, clients, business, everything. I feel like I have more responsibility and I work more than ever. And I think about work and business more than ever. And also I have less financial stability because it's like, I have clients, sometimes more, sometimes less, it all depends, but I'm responsible for this business. And yeah, but what I get most of all, and that's what the biggest reward is, that my lifestyle is healthier. I mean, because I have more time, I can make my well-being priority, which was always very important to me, and that was always my goal. And so I'm glad to have it.
this has come up before with other interviews I've done, where one, they've said sometimes that they work a lot more than they used to, kind of in a job, but the flip side was that it was for them, at least, they liked what they did, so it wasn't too bad.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
also hearing as well about people being, their job made them unwell, and now they have that time to prioritize. I was thinking about this today, but life just shouldn't be about like the hustle and grind. You should
Yeah.
be able to have a slow, relaxing, rewarding, calm life. It's possible.
Mm.
When you look online, it is all about be more, do more, hustle more, and it's exhausting. And I don't think it needs to be like that at all.
Yeah, I think it's important to understand what life is about, what are priorities for you, what is important for you. In being self-employed virtual assistant, I also know that it's important to understand, how much money I want to make and what it means like in time that I have to focus on work every day, but just like you said, it's my decision. I do think about work and business all the time, but I have this independence.
Yeah, it's a payoff, I think. There's always a trade-off to everything that you do. If you say yes to something, it means saying no to something. Spending
Mm-hmm.
time doing one thing means no, you're not. So it is about choice and,
Yeah.
yeah, knowing how much you want to make and where you want to go. Sometimes people, they say to me like, you should do a podcast, or you should. I'm like, I don't want to do. I'm busy enough. I'm happy. I'm okay. I don't need. I make enough money, it's fine for me. I don't want to take over the world. I don't want a team of people. It's actually okay for it just to be me still. And I use a VA. But, I've interviewed people that have a team and they want
Yeah.
it to be an agency. It was something that they particularly wanted. And I've never wanted that. I never had that as part of my dream. And I like that you can build the type of business that you want for the lifestyle that you want as well.
Yeah, because business is like a never-ending story. You can always like limit it or expand or scale, yeah, hire people or be on your own. Yeah, no limitations. It's just
No
your decision
limitation.
where you want to go. Yeah.
Yeah. So, question 5, it's a similar question. What's the most
Mm.
rewarding part, do you think, about working for yourself?
Mm. The biggest reward for me is the feeling of satisfaction that I have when I secure a new client. This feeling when you get that a client chooses to work with me for who I am and what I do, it's amazing. I have been doing it for 8 years now, and the reward I get is this huge sense of achievement. But I've done it. I did it all myself. I've put myself out there, and you know, and for sure there's something I do well because I keep going. So that's great. When you are a business owner, um, you have this ability to choose your niche and to decide what services you offer, and you can align it with your passions and with your talents. And I think that's priceless, combining work with doing something that is your passion that you really enjoy doing. That's the big award. It gives you motivation, it gives you fulfillment, and yeah. So I think that these are the three really greatest things in it.
I agree. I've told the story a few times that when I was younger, I remember saying to my dad, I want a job that's part of my life. I didn't understand why there would be these two things, like what I did all day that didn't feel like it was part of my life. It felt like it was for someone else's life. And then I would come home and then I would have my real life or my life at the weekends or when I was off. And I'm
Mm,
like, but if I'm breathing, if I'm alive, then everything is my life, right? So why can't it all be good? Why can't it all be enjoyable? Why can't it all teach me
yeah.
and make me feel like I'm growing and learning? my dad was like, nobody, that's not a real thing. That's not how it works, because it
Mm-hmm.
isn't for most people. And it's sort of it's the model, the traditional model of working, which obviously it serves the people who want you to work for them, but it isn't the way it has to be. And I always felt that it didn't have to be that way, but it took a very long time for me personally to find
Mm,
the other option. You know, what could I do? That was something that took a long time to find. And then suddenly virtual assistants, which, you know, it didn't exist when I was at school, so it wasn't even a possibility.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's important to believe that there's something that it is possible, that there are opportunities out there, and look for them. I mean, for me, combining work with passion, it also gives you, it makes you capable to like grow and expand in the most like the direction that you desire, you know, and that's beautiful. It's not
Yes.
easy,
And
it's challenging, but it's been strong. Yeah.
it's not easy. And also how it's changed, like we were saying earlier before I hit record, that I did a lot more traveling before, you know, because I'm not married with children. And so it means that I can do whatever I want when I want. And that was a life I always wanted. And I did a lot, I was traveling all the time. I was literally the shortest time, the longest time I was in the UK between trips at one point was about 2 weeks. You know, I
Mm,
was solidly traveling. And then I got my dog, which was a conscious decision. And I now don't really travel so much with him, and I live more, you know, more green spaces rather than by the sea, which worked when I was younger. But it didn't matter, because being a virtual assistant, working for myself, means that however my life has changed as I've grown or just desired different things, it still works.
yeah.
If you work for a company and you decide you want to go and live in the countryside or by the sea or in another country, then you have more limited options. You know, it's
Yeah.
harder. I want to, you know, you want to get a dog, but you're at work all day, for
Mm,
example. You want to travel
mm,
and visit different countries. I mean, we've got more nomad visas now that allow people to travel, work in other countries, even if they're employed, you know, by a company. But
yeah.
that's relatively new.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. It's about creating opportunities for yourself rather than like wait for them to just come your way. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some saying, isn't it? It's about, oh, I can't remember what the actual saying is. It's some quote about, um, because you know what other people have got planned for you, you know, nothing special, nothing much.
Yeah. Fight for
Question
something
six.
special.
Exactly. Question six. What do you feel is the most challenging part of running a business?
The challenge that I can think of when you are working a lot on your own is that occasionally you can feel like lonely and isolated, and you can start wondering like, oh, well, I don't know what it's like out there. I wonder what I'm missing. Sometimes you're lacking inspiration or knowledge of the new trends. So that's what I can think, and sometimes it comes to my head. And I think to overcome it, it's good to be a part of online professional groups, like your Facebook group, for example, VA Handbookers, because this way you will get some interaction with people. A lot of them do the same as you do. You get inspiration, you find out what's happening in the profession, in the industry, on the market, what trainings people are getting, what are the possible new services, what problems people have, what are the solutions. So you get a lot when you're active in online group support, like groups, like support groups or inspirational groups. Um, I would also say that it's good to sign up for trainings. On one hand, to up level your skills, so keep up with the requirements of the market, but also to get this interaction with people, to get this fresh flow of energy and thoughts. And I find it important, because I work so much on my own, to have a really busy social life, to have family life or friends, because this way you interact with people, and not only for pleasure, because it is fun for me, but also they inspire you as well. What else as a challenge? For me, because I have international clients and I work online, the challenge is to get in front of the right people, to get noticed by people who are potentially my clients, and they can be interested in my services. Sometimes being online means that you are a little bit invisible. You don't have a chance to present yourself in person, which is often the most powerful way of presenting. So that's a challenge. Another thing for me is recognizing, understanding who is your potential client and who isn't. Because of my target clients are executives, CEOs, still majority of them want to have their assistant in an office in person with them every day. And however, luckily for me, there are also executives who are more flexible. They are open-minded. They want to be ahead of a curve. And also they travel so much that it really doesn't matter where I am located. And this relationship can work very well. It's just a matter of communicating, building trust and understanding requirements. But it is very important for me to understand, is this CEO or executive my potential client, or maybe not, because they prefer a traditional way. Something that also is a challenge, but we talked about it before, like misunderstanding of a concept of a virtual assistant, and assumption that it's only a technical online support, because the reality is that virtual assistants offer unlimited range of services. Like you can find a virtual assistant to help you with anything you want. It's just a question of matching the right virtual assistant with a set of skills and services with clients' requirements. And also, I know also from your group and from Live that a lot of virtual assistants are flexible. They're mobile. They do meet their clients in person. I also offer it as a part of my services, but I am in person available for special projects like events. And the last challenge, not the last, but last most important challenge that I can think of is that when you are self-employed, it's running business. So you have to think about many things, providing services, but also promoting yourself and securing clients. So executing work at the highest level, marketing and sales all at the same time, it's really complex. It's really time consuming. It's really stressful. So you have to be strong and really highly motivated. That's challenging. It can be done, but it's not that easy.
I agree. It's not for everyone, I think. It's good to, that's why these interviews are so useful, because people can see what it's like and they might go, actually, I'm not too sure. It's not for me, or it's not for me right now. And it's good to see what it's the reality of running a business. Some people say that if they had known now, well, if they'd have known when they started out how hard it would be, how much hard work it would be, they may not have done it. But they are still glad that they did it. I think people feel that way about, I've heard people say that about kids, that they're really happy about it. And but if they had known, they potentially might not have have done that. So it is good
Well,
to see
yeah.
the reality. The
Well, like,
reality.
in life, you get nothing for free, right? So to get rewards and satisfaction of being a virtual assistant, you put a lot into this, so you have to be prepared for it. And yeah, some people may decide, yes, I want to go for it. And some people may say, oh, maybe not, maybe another time.
Yeah. So question 7, how do you get your clients?
There's no secret recipe for getting clients. For me, it's a combination of, first of all, my contacts and people whom I have worked before, recommendations. I mean, I think the word of mouth is a very powerful thing. But it's also LinkedIn, Facebook, and luck. Um, like there's no recipe. And sometimes clients come in most unexpected moments, sometimes very quickly. Other times you have to wait, you have to allow time. I know that perseverance pays, and yeah, I've had it in my business as well. Sometimes it happened really quickly. Sometimes I had to wait for the right client to come. My first ever client, I secured like in a very unusual way, because she found me on Facebook and messaged me like very early morning on a public holiday. So like you wouldn't expect any clients and anybody to look for you. But I was lucky to be online, and I responded very quickly, like within 5 minutes. And so she called me, and like within half an hour, we already had agreed a meeting to discuss details. So, you just never know.
What I liked as well was when you said about waiting for the right client. When people start out, they often just take any client, and I think that comes
Mm,
with experience, that the wrong client can be costly in many ways. And any time that you're working for a wrong client, it's often can be quite damaging to your confidence, to your
yeah.
business, many things. And it's something I think that more experienced virtual assistants realize. They learn that over time there is such a thing as a good match for one another. Not they worry too much, I think, about whether they will be a good match for the client. I hope they pick me. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
actually they should be thinking, do I want to take this client on? Do they suit me in the way that I work? So I really like that you said that.
Oh yes, it's essential to have this match, to really have not only chemistry but match of your skills and what client is looking for, and personalities, and even timings of work sometimes. Yeah, it's so important.
Yeah, I've worked with virtual assistants that had children, and we parted ways. Not, and it was an agreed thing, because often, they were like, well, I need to finish at 3 o'clock, for example. But because of the hours that I worked, it didn't really suit me. And so we just said, we're not really a good match kind of time wise. There was a virtual assistant I have now. She also actually doesn't have any children. She has a cat. And so she's often, sometimes she'll message me, ping me a message on a Saturday, and I'll just reply back. I'm like, oh, she's working, and she has a more flexible working day, I suppose, than other people. And it's not, neither's a good or bad thing. Neither person has like got it right or got it wrong. It's just they're working in a way that suits them because of their own lifestyle and desires. And so it was also for me as a client, getting the right virtual assistant for me, and
Mm,
having one that isn't often more flexible time wise didn't work for me. But most virtual assistants that have children, they don't have that problem either, because often their
yeah.
clients have children, so they understand, and it all works out. So it is about finding a good match for one another.
Also, it's like I said, personality and ability to understand, because it's remote work and you're not seeing each other so much in person. Um, some people I find it, some clients or potential clients, you're able to build this bond and understand and read their minds and know their expectations very quickly, and you don't have to even see them. And that's a really ideal client, that the best solution.
Yeah, I've not ever met my VA, and we've been working together for, God, maybe about 6 years, I think. I've never met her.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on, question 8. What do you wish you had known when you first started out?
One thing that I didn't appreciate was that how important is to diversify and have a number of clients. I wrongly assumed initially that because I'm an executive assistant and in the past I worked just for one executive, I thought it would be the best and easiest if I have just one client, max two, and they buy majority of my hours. I thought it would give me focus, and it would be the best sort of cooperation. However, it's different when you are self-employed, and once the danger is that once the agreement ends, then you end up without a client and you have to look again. So I found it that the best and mostly financially secured solution is to have like a number of clients at the same time.
Yeah.
Another thing that it's important to know, and I didn't realize it initially, is that during a day you have like max 5 hours that you can charge for. Coming from a corporate background, I thought that I could work like even 8-10 hours a day and that I would get paid for it all. But the reality is that you have to allow for break times, lunch time. You have to also sometimes focus on your own admin, on business development, on marketing. So really, during the day, you have like 5 hours net that you can bill for. And also what it means to be a freelancer. You're free, you have independence, but you're never free from thinking about business, from thinking about clients, thinking about marketing, and you don't have a safety net of getting paid like monthly salary, being paid for holidays or sick leaves. So yeah, I guess it would be good if I knew it from to start with, but I learned it, so now I remember for sure.
Exactly, and anyone watching this now knows it
Yep,
as
yep.
well. So
I'm
they'll
spreading the
go,
news.
ah, spreading the news. Yeah. Question 9, how do you handle work-life balance?
Yeah, life balance is a big thing for me because I actually support my clients in achieving it in their lives. And as a business owner, you find it challenging because you work a lot and you think about work a lot. So I think for me to achieve life balance, it's important to, like what we were talking about, understand how much money I want to earn and how much it means I will have to work, to prioritize, to plan everything in advance. And by saying everything, I mean like plan your work life and your personal life in advance. Set working time and stick to it. I mean, be very disciplined about it. What I personally do is I align my work time with my biological clock because I know I'm most efficient there and I can do the best quality of work then. It's also important to plan personal life, private life, meetings with friends, with family, fitness, travel, well-being. and also stick to it, be disciplined. If you don't plan it and if you don't follow through, then it may never happen. And I think it's especially when you are a business owner, it's a huge investment, very important investment in not only your well-being, but also in your business, because the more relaxed, rested you are, the more efficient you are, and the better your business health is. And also about life balance is make sure to communicate with your clients. Talk to them about what your working hours, what your working style is versus their expectations and their requirements. I think that's the key, to have this mutual understanding and agreement.
I agree. I know that you're also in the Growth Hub, and I did this workshop, Leaky Bucket workshop, where we were talking about where you were maybe sort of leaking time, money, and energy and focus, etc. And one of the things that I was saying was that to match your tasks with your biology and your preferences. So I work very well in the morning on focused things. So if I'm going to write a newsletter, if I try and do it in the afternoon, it will take me days. But if I get up early and do it first thing, I can knock an email out, a
Yeah.
newsletter out in like an hour and a half, because that's when I think best. That's when I can focus best. And also something else that occurred to me as you were saying that was, I think because virtual assistants are so helpful, which is why they've become virtual assistants, they will often prioritize their client over themselves, not just the client's business, but also say they had, I don't know, a yoga class booked, or they were going to go for some sort of class or exercise. They were going to take that time to maybe go to a cafe and read. A client suddenly comes in with a task, they're more likely just to go, yes, I can do it, and drop that thing that is actually really important to their business and to their own well-being. They prioritize their clients' needs over their own.
Yeah. I mean, of course, there are things, the urgent, very important things do happen, and you have to compromise, but most of the time you can plan for it, and you can keep a balance. Yeah.
Yeah. And finally, question 10, what advice would you have for anyone who is considering virtual assistants as a profession?
The most important thing is to know your why. Why you choosing to become self-employed. To be business owner is rewarding, and it brings you a lot of independence, but it also comes with challenges. You think about business all the time, you have difficult decisions to make, you have problems to solve. So you have to be really strong and motivated, and it's not for everyone. So be clear on pros and cons for you, and in being self-employed versus traditional employment, and understand what it is that you get out of it that is very valuable for you, and why you choose this way of making money versus other. Second thing is be clear on your niche. It's very important to decide on what services you want to offer. And I suggest to really align it with something that you're best at, that you're really good at. Believe in the value you bring to your clients. And at the same time, make sure you understand the clients. Make sure you understand what services are looked for and what services the clients will be willing to pay for. So, because it's not just deciding what you like doing, is being aware that whether you will actually get paid for it.
Yes.
Watch the market, watch the clients, stay ahead. the world is changing so much these days. Everything is changing. Our profession, virtual assistant, or even traditional assistance profession, it's changing. Artificial intelligence can complete more and more of the tasks that traditionally we would do. Also, our clients' businesses are changing. They get affected by whatever is going on in the world. So I think it's important to keep ahead, to try predict what will be required next, what services clients will be looking for, and just try to adjust to it and know what actions you need to undertake to be able to fulfill the needs that are according to the changes that are around the corner. So that's definitely what, so sign up for trainings and, look what other new skills you need to have. And I think the advice that I would also give to any business owner, self-employed virtual assistant for sure, is have someone in your life who will support you in difficult moments, because being self-employed means that you have moments when you feel satisfied and you feel successful, but you will also have days when you are overwhelmed with difficulties. And it really helps when you have someone who wishes you well and cheers on and motivates you to keep going when you have a day when you want to quit.
I completely agree. This was one of the reasons I set up the Growth Hub. Actually, it was so that I also had other business owners to be around, because when I lived in Brighton, there was a lot more people that ran their own business. Here, back where I was born, my sort of hometown, I don't know that many people that run a business, and being able to talk to other people, even virtually now, is really great. And also,
Yeah,
I don't think we've seen this many changes in the industry with AI for a very long time. I can't think of something that came along since I've been a virtual assistant, back in 2000, end of 2008, I started. So I can't think of anything that came along that has shaken the industry as much. And that's again with the Growth Hub, where I'm like, well, we need to help one another stay abreast of these
yeah,
changes. And,
mhm,
it affects every type of virtual assistant, whether they are traditional corporate clients or whether they're more techie. It's an impacting every area of businesses, and clients want their VA to stay ahead of these things because they want to stay ahead of
yeah,
these things. And there are always ways now with AI that mean that you can do your job better and faster, which is then impacting the way that you charge. Because if you're charging by the hour, then you're going to be losing money the quicker you can do the task. But if you charge for the project, for the task
yeah.
itself, then you make more money for getting the task done now in a fraction of the time with AI. And these are a lot of changes for virtual assistants, I think, to get their head round, especially if they've been in business a while and haven't been used to thinking about changes. Yeah, very interesting times.
Very, yeah, challenging as well. You really have to keep staying ahead, like and have groups like your Facebook group. I mean, where you will get to know what's happening, and and also you get support. Yeah, when you have a bad
Yes,
day
well,
or a problem with a technical problem or a problem with a client, or yeah.
glad to get that help. Well, thank you very, very much, Agnieszka, for taking the time to talk to me today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
You're welcome. I hope it's been helpful for potential virtual assistants and existing ones as well.